Galatasaray are facing Göztepe in a very difficult away game, but we are still 1 point ahead of Fenerbahce and Trabzonspor with one less game played. Talking about Fenerbahce, I don't think it was a penalty whatsoever. I also talked with my good friend who is a Fenerbahce fan, and he said it was never a penalty and that he didn't want to win that way. But we can't get shocked, and we can't wait on these wake-up calls time after time as fans, as team, that they don't want us to win the league this year. The TFF president, we know how he is. When he is coming out with these statements, why do we get shocked that they still want to keep those teams in the title race against us? We can't get shocked. We really need to focus on ourselves. How has Galatasaray won the league 3 times in a row? It's not because we got help from someone. It's quite the opposite. We have been so good that they couldn't win against us, and we need to keep it that way and not get shocked and need those wake-up calls time after time. So I don't want to focus too much on that, to be honest. Another thing is that I got a tactical board here. So I want to talk about how Galatasaray played against Trabzonspor and how we have played lately. And if you ask why I got this tactical board, is that a bit about my background. I played semi-pro football. I have helped to coach some teams, but right now I got a coaching job for an under 17 team. So probably this is some starting era when you're a coach that you love these tactical and nerdy things. But I think it's quite interesting anyway. Looking at Sinan Yilmaz, who is a Galatasaray, YouTuber, and has been scout and worked for some Super League teams, if I'm not totally wrong, has emphasized something about Lemina, that he's dropping too much down. Looking at it, I would talk about that. Looking at that, about how Galatasaray wants to play under Okan Hoxha, and many teams in the world are using this when they are in established play, is this 3-2-4-1 formation or 3-2-5, whatever you call it. One of the reasons why you want to play out like this, if you're thinking this is the ball, is that the one thing is that when you're getting, losing possession, is that you have 5 players surrounded centrally. So where does the opponent needs to counter? It's wide, and then it's not so dangerous as if they can go, in those rooms or here. So therefore, centrally it's very compact, and that's very good if you lose the ball. Another thing is that many coaches are, dividing the pitch in 4 or 5 lines. So here, you have 5 players here who are occupying the opponent's defenders, which means that they need to go back with 5 defenders, which are opening space here. This is a very, this is something Okan Hoxha used to, for example, with Mertens here and so on. But lately, Galatasaray has played something like this, where Yunus Akgün, let's say Yunus Akgün is here, he's on the line with Icardi. Lemina is dropping down here. Then Singo is going here, Jakobs is here. Barış Alper is somewhere here, It's just chaotic. And look at the space where Torreira, yes, he's been weak lately. He's not the same old Torreira we are used to. But he's completely alone here. Which means that when they win the possession here, it's just to run everywhere on the pitch for, our opponents. What I really don't understand is that Galatasaray, when you have a player like Wilfred Singo, I don't understand. If you looked at my analysis video about him, is that one of his biggest strengths, I believe, at least, is that he's so good with the ball when he's taking the ball up with him. When a center back, or say a right back, he's a right back in when we're defending, but with the ball, why he doesn't go up or central like this and take the ball up with him? One thing is that he's dragging the striker. When they faced Benfica with Monaco, Pavlidis, Benfica striker, needed to follow Singo so high up on the pitch that he need to run like 70 meters when he need to attack. That's one thing. Another thing is that you are tiring up their forwarders. So I don't understand why we don't use single like this when Lemina is dropping down here. The ideal thing then is that Yunus Akgün needs to drop and support Torreira, but he doesn't do that either. So it's not surprised that we have not played well lately. When we play like this, Yunus, Icardi, Noah Lang, Jakobs, Barish is close to Singo. So it's just gaps everywhere, and it's very easy to defend for our opponents. So I don't understand, under Okanoja, you remember Kanahan went in to support um, the center backs in the build-up or in the established play. So I don't understand why we are gone away from that. Lemina dropping down, Torreira completely alone there. I just don't understand it. But anyway, that's one of the problems, I believe. Looking at our 11 against Göztepe, from what I've seen on the rumors, is Uran Çakır in goal, Wilfred Singo as right back, Davinson Sanchez and Lemina as center backs because Apo is suspended. He got a red card after the game. They can curse at you, they can do whatever at you. Please don't get a red card when it is so important game. I know it's normal to lose your head, but we need to be really careful on that because we're going into the final stage of the league. You can't lose your head, get those red cards when you're a so important player as well. I just can't believe it. And the free kick he made against Trabzonspor. Yeah, probably is the mental thing that he played a very important game for Turkey and so on, but it's not acceptable. But again, Davinson Sanchez and Lemina centre backs, Jakobs as left back. Another thing, when I looked at the formation with this 3-2, 3-2-5 formation, is that Eren Elmalu can probably play here as well if Okanaja wants to play with Eren instead, because he's more attacking player than Jakobs. Why I'm saying this formation is that because I believe that Okanaja wants to play this formation when we are established in the build, when we have the ball. But again, Jakobs had a very weak game against Trabzonspor. Still, I'm much more secure or relying on him defensively than Eren Elmalu. I think he's very weak defensively, Eren Elmalu, but he's a very good asset up front as a winger. But Torreira and Gabriel Sara as central midfielders, this is from our reporters are saying, because Gabriel Sara are playing with these painkillers or injection or whatever, and he was on the last training before the game, and he's a very important player, Torreira, and Gabriel Sara, playing beside Torreira, who was also very weak against Trabzonspor. But is it weird when you're looking how our system are right now? I know that Torreira has been very weak, but our system, it is very difficult to play well under these circumstances, unfortunately. Leroy Sané is back as a right winger, of course. Barış Alper, left winger. Ilkay Gündoğan, who had a positive 45 minutes against Trabzonspor, are expected to play. And Sallai on top, benching Icardi and Yunus Akgün, who both had very weak games against Trabzonspor. This is the 11 people are talking about. The thing here again is that this team should be able to keep the ball against a very defensive Göztepe team. Göztepe are one of the teams that has the lowest possession in the league. They are not a very passing team. They are playing many long balls. So it's going to be a very difficult game. As I said, they are on 5th place in the league, and they have been the 5th best team in the league at home. Their atmosphere at their stadium is very, very it's not good, man. It's very hard there. So it's going to be a very difficult difficult game. Um, what I wanted to say. Sallai has played a striker. He played striker on the national team. I'm not sure he's the most ideal striker, but I would rather have him there than Barış Alper, because Barış Alper, when he's playing striker, often he's getting he's getting away from the game. We need a Barış Alper who can destroy the left side, and then Sallai who can fight on top there. So yeah, we need to be, this Galatasaray team. I still really believe in this team, and we need to understand that we are 1 point ahead of Fenerbahce and Trabzonspor with one less game. What I'm trying to say is that we have still a huge advantage, but I understand that people are very stressed because how we are played lately, especially in the league, has not been good enough. And away, we have struggled away. Another thing as well, I really expect Okan Hoca to do something with our structure, with our planning. Because looking at İlkay Gündoğan taking the first zone on the goal we conceded against Trabzonspor, one of the best teams in the league when it comes to set pieces, Trabzonspor, and you are putting İlkay on the first zone there, it's just amateur if you ask me. It is always Icardi or Osimhen who is on the first zone. If Icardi has been in İlkay's position there, we would not have conceded that goal. Maybe we would have conceded it in other ways or whatsoever, but not there. That's for me again coming back to the planning and structure and discipline that's happening. So I really expect us to have a good game against Göztepe, and it is a very, very important game. Extremely important game. I can't wait for it, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Comment down below what you think about my, tactical board and what I did there. I just want to try something new, and I'm really interested in tactics, so I wanted to just emphasize what Sinan Yilmaz and other, Sinan Yilmaz, who is a good Galatasaray YouTuber, I believe, in analysis and everything. I just wanted to show it on the tactical board, and I agree as well. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.